Alright, so I took a lot of notes on toilet paper here. You see, it's quite a bit, so I want to go through this sort of fast. It's all the notes I took of the guard activity and then other thoughts of just that popped into my head while I'm there. Okay, Olson said that I was trying to bribe her when I asked for a paper and pen before booking. She she didn't book me in because I asked for a pen and paper. She called that bribing. She didn't charge me though. Guards of all genders will be monitoring you. I saw that on a sign. When what got me was they said guards of all genders. I've never seen that before. So there's guards that you don't know what sex they are, I guess. Olson labeled me as uncooperative for booking on day shift. I asked Morrison if the librarians decided to press disorderly conduct charges. She said I was uncooperative and would find out during booking. Morrison said she has no more time for my nonsense and for the rest of her shift, which is night shift, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. She ignored all other call box button calls that I made. So they will ignore you at points, which is pretty unnerving when you're in the cell. 4 a.m. Morrison was somewhere else, so Webb was in her place. He was well, let's just say I thought he was falling asleep. He's a pretty good guy actually. So I'm not gonna use that against him. I so we we were able to get me booked in. Um, Cops said that I have a criminal violation that city product prosecutes. The something has no judge for Friday. Oh, the city court has no judge for Friday, so I will sit all weekend in jail. Jail guards say I will see a judge at 3 p.m. Friday, but that's for district court. That's not city. City closed for COVID. Librarians impose COVID rules. Yep. They posted it on Facebook, which is infuriating for me. How is a visitor supposed to know? Officers Lysander, and I call her Malabar. I keep forgetting her name. There's a bunch of A's in there. She said it on video. I just have to watch it again. They tackled me to the ground just to grab my ID. I was stunned to hear Cruz say he's a liar when we were parked outside the jail. He told us to his female who helped him out arresting me, told me the judge will decide what happens to my trespassing from the library. No, the judge does not. I should not have accepted that as an answer, but she walked away at some point and didn't want to get into it. Cruz tells lies and then accuses other people of lying. I believe Cruz is a liar. And then turns around and calls other people liars. I will be accused of escalating the situation for exchanging IDs. Yeah, that's what cops assume, is that you're fighting, you're a fighter, so they gotta ramp up their aggression. The city must be saved from Cruz's reign of terror. Or is he a reflection of the local culture? I'm not sure. I don't know the area. Cruz is enforcing his ID policy as though it's law. His pathological lying makes him believe that policies are laws. When I said my stress level was up in front of Lysander, Cruz was quick to bring the attention back to himself by declaring that he was the one who was stressed for having to arrest me. Questioning the library's COVID policy led to them calling the police and my arrest. And this is over time while I was sitting in jail. After I got a pen, the first 10 hours I had no pen. Cruz likely grabbed me first and said I was arrested second. I'm allowed time to process the situation. Even Cruz mentioned that he moved very fast, and that should be heard on his camera. Cruz blamed my wrists for being thick, for my left hand cuff being too tight. I think he only checked the right cuff. The left hand, my left hand swelled up that first day. I am much more interested in getting guards' names than inmates' names. Just a thought. I spent 24 hours in jail, and they never let me call a bail bondman. I have never talked to a bail bondman for 6 days. I have a lot of headache in jail. Much of it seems to be eye strain from the overhead lights. Benjamin seemed to forge a signature when working at her desk computer because she walked around to the front and signed on the electric pad quickly, then went back to her computer. I found that strange behavior. I don't know why she would have needed to sign. My stomach feels ill. Cruz gave me no time to process the arrest. I was tackled to the ground for not following COVID rules. Putting a cloth over my head to block light helped. This is one of the guards. I described guards. Angered old, and all of them are pretty much fat. Very few are slender, healthy looking. Old fat, white hair. Gilmore, mid-20s, fat, redhead. Supper time on Friday. I guess I missed any 3 p.m. court arrangements. Meal, mashed potatoes, green beans, ham, 2 bread, milk, apple. Cruz didn't want to look weak on my camera. He knew I was recording. He wanted to damage it, which led to the resisting arrest. I regret letting my guard down with the Williston library with COVID. I wore that GoPro chesty under my button shirt with my GoPro 8, which the cops stole, and started recording before I entered the Dickinson library. That was Dickinson, South Dakota. I was very on edge about COVID rules in Dickinson, but Dickinson was very relaxed. Watford was very relaxed in North Dakota, just south of here. So I started letting my guard down. Inmates must clean their cell every day, but can only shower 3 times per week. That's in the rule book. Sometime Saturday morning I wake up with the dim lights. Cruz behavior would be better for night shift and dealing with drunks at a bar. He was on day shift and made himself look very bad to the public. There were more sober eyes watching, especially at the library. More sober eyes on day shift. This Williams County jail asks more questions during booking about my past sexual assault history. In last year in Root County jail, they asked more questions about drug abuse. So there's kind of themes at jail. During the dim lights, a day shift guard wears no name tag. Hispanic, 6 foot, fat muscle made the rounds. I pressed the button to the call box. No answer. All right, and the big guy was Wickerek. That's his name. I expected more Spanish names, Spanish as he looked. The CDC guidelines are likely telling librarians to take away their chairs and telling patrons that cubicles are not allowed to be used. Likely not telling that. That's not a CDC guideline. Cruz probably tired himself out throwing that table. Abby, muscular, black, male. Lindman, black. Another black female, I think that was Washington. And Wickerek, they all serve breakfast. I found it interesting. That's kind of a minority theme there. For some strange reason, they allowed the black to walk downstairs. Oh, that's the black inmates. I don't know what to think of that. It's just silly, I guess. Something while everyone else needed to remain in our cells to wait for the small breakfast to come to us. It was a guy that's like from Chicago, got picked up by detectives. I talked to him a little bit, but we had to talk through doors. 1 spoon of peanut butter, 1 glass apple juice, milk. I think that's lunch. I wasn't in Williston for an hour before I got arrested. Saturday morning, there is a good chance that if I pay $750 bail bond, my car might be towed already, and I might have that charge too. I'm still surprised that Cruz was a medic. And this is where I start calling him Crazy Cruz. Easy transition for Cruz from medic to cop. I think so. He was a very aggressive, likely aggressive medic. Black inmate vented about 100K. That's that same guy. He pops up in my toilet paper. So he's like 100K to be paid in full to get released. He only had his wife had 10K or 5K. The COVID team of Benjamin and Washington told him to free time was over. He gave them a real hard time. He was in the shower. They called Wickerwreck and Abby, 2 strong men who stood furthest away. Abby stood furthest away. After 5 minutes, Black inmate closed his door. He was in the second level, vented in his cell. Washington Benjamin, unknown white guard. I know who that is now. Abby and Wickerwreck returned to put Black inmates in handcuffs and removed from cell block A for isolation. Later, Washington returned to spray a few tables for COVID for the next single inmate's free time. No inmate could be in the same room together. Asking an inmate, "What you doing?" is like asking a pet dog what it's doing. They both are either asleep or awake. Librarians waited until I found a spot to work and then pounced on me. 1026. Hronik, I think that's the guy. Skinny white guy, guard, cleans for COVID. Right arm tattoo, a big red R on his right arm. Lunch, ham and cheese, potato chips, carrot, celery. Back in bail bond's phone number is blocked by the jail. The second phone number didn't answer. It's hard to call bail bondsmen from the jail. I now have to accept that I will be in jail through Monday. There is no way I could pay the bail bonds with my credit card in my belongings. They won't let me to my belongings. The shower is terrible. It squirts out scalding hot water like a garden hose. It does not spray. It doesn't make sense for me to try to add money to the canteen card turnkey corrections for the chance I can get the bail bondsman to answer their phone. Potalin, female, left wrist in cast, white, obese, bigger chest, red hair. Walked the rounds while Abby watched. Gilbert Noble took trays from supper time. My cell door was unlocked by control room, and lady said, "Go to the blue line." It was then I was told to close my door. They made a weird mistake. The reduced daily calories in food leave me feeling more tired, hungry, and weak. I grow older just to have kids throw me in jail. If the day shift has no sense of community relations, the night shift is going to be worse for Williston. I watched a cop spray and wipe his handcuffs for 15 minutes for COVID. He also wore a medical mask. And that was when I was in intake still. I was just reflecting on that weird situation. Benjamin was there. The COVID enforcement in jail has been very effective at preventing inmates from talking to each other. That's bad. That is really bad. Asking to exchange IDs is a quick way to find the bad cops. Bad ones want to hide behind the badge. Sunday morning, Abby Washington Benjamin served Sunday breakfast. Cupcake egg, an egg and a cupcake. 2 white breads, spoon of peanut butter, apple juice, milk. You know these guards eat a larger breakfast than they serve to inmates. Black inmate was brought back to his cell this morning by Hronik. That's the white guy. You don't get to beat somebody up just to take their ID. I bet Cruz gets a high percentage of resistant arrests by contact made. What physical limits prevent a guard from working? Obviously, a broken hand. I was reflecting on that lady with the sprained wrist, a broken hand to work and still control inmates. What about a broken leg or doing guard duty from a wheelchair? She had a sprained wrist. An inmate could take advantage of that. Bad cops hide behind the badge and claim to be the law. Cruz had accused a mouse of resisting arrest. We only get 30 minutes each day to buy snacks from the vending machine. Most trespass orders seem to never have a time limit with cops. I'm weak from hunger in jail. Noble asked me if I want a razor for tomorrow morning. I said yes, and he checked me off a list. Collins, middle-aged, white woman, red hair. Works with Noble on the night shift. They came in with masks off, then slipped on at the last minute. Noble is white, 5'7", glasses, mustache. Red blonde hair. I wouldn't know if Noble has a mustache if he kept his mask on. 10:47 p.m. Actually got a time. Gilmore, short, fat, redhead male, offers toiletries. I ask if he knew when I have court, and he said city is Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m. 80% of the jail guards are obese, and some even morbidly obese. Woke up in dim lights Monday morning, feel chilly. I'm not able to keep myself warm enough like I used to. Jail seems to focus their bigger, more muscular guards to day shift with Abby, Carr, and Wickerek, even Dakota too. Dakota, tall, somewhat muscular black man on day shift. Glasses. I'm feeling a combination of health problems with diabetic conditions and hunger. They feed us way too much sugar. I get dizzy. Fiber is extremely low in the diet, especially with the white bread. Smith and Carr handed out razors. Smith tall, very fat, white male, mid-20s. Carr Smith came back 20 minutes later for the razors. We had 15 minutes of dim lights and 5 minutes of bright lights to shave. Lamb, younger, white male, slender, 5'8", brown hair. Lamb helps nurse with medications. Smith has a real tough time keeping his face mask on when entering the cell block A. In the den with Medanovic. Is that the night? I was just trying to remember his name, and I was using that to chant when I didn't have a pen. Judge Janet Zander believed that I was underemployed and that I can post a $250 bond. I have to fill out paperwork for another 48-hour bond hearing. Judge Zander said she didn't normally do PR bonds. That is not even a legal argument. She granted her only PR bond to someone who had a lawyer, and it was a black guy. It looks like another 2 days in jail until my next bond hearing on Wednesday. Today is July 20th. Karst, blonde, female, glasses, not as fat. I need resources to prepare for my trial and can't do anything from jail. They said 48 hours, but next city court is Thursday. I asked the call box if I could make a request for discovery, and they have a form to give me. I'm confused why the bailiff didn't say all rise when the judge left the courtroom. Is that really a court? Judge Janet Zander practices cruel and unusual punishment to extort or squeeze money from the poor. What is the difference between a court-appointed attorney and a public defender? They don't use public defenders in city court. I'm supposed to be innocent until... Whoa. I'm gonna pull this. Okay, I'll just go off of the regular battery. Let's see. I accessed the phone and seemed to have a bad pin. A guard Dakota helped, but his help didn't work. There's a note that the jail stopped. Let me back up here. The jail stopped issuing free note paper August 2019. I have to fight a resisting arrest charge from the jail cell. A call box told me that I need to ask a deputy on the floor for a bond reduction sheet. Otherwise, I won't get another bond hearing. Because I was talking through my door to someone who needed to go back to their cell, the call box turned off at the control room, turned off the TV as punishment. Monday evening, call box was extremely distorted, and the guy in the main area stayed. Suddenly, white, a fat middle-aged black man, and an unknown lady burst in and demanded he get back in his cell. They were angry he didn't respond to the call box, but I couldn't understand what that call box said. Tammy something told my neighbor, all these cups, I want them. He had about 10 cups for applesauce. Morrison was with her. I definitely don't like Morrison. This guy was stockpiling like cups in his cell. I couldn't see. Laundry exchange late in evening sometime. It was very much like a military drill with whites. I think he skipped some sleepers. Bad timing for them. I'm still amazed how Judge Sander gave the black guy a PR bond, but not me. I really expected to be let out of jail today. Instead, I'm facing 2 more weeks. The judge seemed to change her mind after she asked me what my experiences were. I said none. What my expenses were. I don't have a phone and I connect to the internet for free. To be ready for jail at any time, you might want to tattoo a friend's email, phone number, and your credit card number somewhere on your body. You are stripped to nothing when you have to go to a jail cell. Woke up in the dim light on Tuesday for another day of pacing the cell. The combination of the judge imposing $250, my canteen card not working, and the first time I was able to call with no answers has led me to being stuck. Most jails have to allow outdoor time, but not this one. Not for COVID. Williston is like Lord of the Flies. Now I'm gonna switch it because I I wrote a little bit on the other side of the toilet paper. Lord of the Flies. And let's see. With cops. They're like Lord of the Flies. They're just running around like crazy kids. Williston brought the night shift bar fight crew to day shift. I can't call a bail bondsman without money on my account. But I can't put money on my account because I can't access my credit card. I'm being held hostage. Mexican guy on the phone was sitting on floor and call box told him not to sit on the floor. He was leaning against the wall. During COVID lockdown, the location of your cell matters a lot for the TV. Some guys on the side never get to see it. One guy said that all it does is annoy me because he can't see it. He can only hear it. Just when he was let out for his COVID free time, the TV turned off. I asked the call box and they said nothing. I wonder if they are mad about my complaints on the blue kiosk. I wish I knew the names of these people behind the call box. They're the ones who can really hide. The nurse and car came down to give my neighbor some medication. He was getting daily medication, but he left hours ago. And the nurse wasn't told that. Inmates have a lot harder time helping each other with the phone because of COVID lockdown. Inmates are forced to ask guards more questions about the phone. The black inmate actually had the call box offer him help with with the phone. I thought that was interesting. That's it.